Okay, the next emotion that gonna, I'm gonna, I was gonna, I recorded them on my iPad, and then there's some message coming up on my iPad, and then it did not go through. So, the next emotion we're gonna talk about, I'm gonna talk about, there's only me, is worry. Worry affects primarily the lungs, but it also affects the liver as well, causing liver chi stagnation, and this happens particularly if worry is work related and occurs in conjunction with frustration. And certain, so a lot of the times it would cause the symptoms as liver yang raising, and I was talking about liver yang raising, and I've seen my share of liver yang raising. Um, in my family, of course, my grandpa used to be one of those people who are who just explode over like little thing. I remember when I was little, and I used to be so scared that my grandpa would my grandmother would cook and do all the housework. All my grandfather has to do is to come home. Well, he doesn't really work, so he doesn't he just goes outside on the street, like not on the street. We in China we have like little streets that most cars cannot get in. Just talk to our neighbors, basically. They just so not very productive. And then he would come home and he would eat. And one time, I'm not sure if just that one time that gave me the most expression, like give me the memory that violence men what men can do it for as violence. So what happens is my grandpa came home for lunch, and then I don't know how to say this in a way that it doesn't make me sound like I'm emotionally disturbed or something. So what happens is my grandpa, after he finished lunch, and he just threw the ball on the floor or on the wall. I'm not sure why, but he was probably really mad at my grandmother for something that he has been worried for a long time. And this man, even though he already passed away, and until this day, I am just still very scared to talk about him. And I have mixed feelings for him because he and my grandmother are the ones that are the people who took care of me when I was young. I basically grew up in their house, and anyhow, go back to liver young raising. So this is the kind of rage that we're talking about. It's not because something that really frustrates you, like that something big happens. It's only like one little thing that after lunch we were having lunch, we were not having pleasant conversation or whatnot, but they just it's like all of a sudden out of nowhere liver young rising. Okay, I hope you enjoyed my little frustrating story. So sadness. Although in Chinese books, liver is always related to anger, but sadness always affects the liver too. So this explains, especially in women, in the spiritual access in chapter 8 of Huangdi Neijing, it says the liver sadness and shock injure the ethereal soul. So in the same chapter, it also says that when sadness affects the liver, injures the ethereal soul, which this causes mental confusion. So the yin is damaged, and the tendons contract, and there's hypochondriac discomfort. So I guess sadness could also be a part of liver disease because liver stores blood, and when, especially in women, when they're always so sad. I cannot think of anybody who's always so sad, but in a way, um, I'm sure there are people who are sad and then their liver is affected.